I don't think you need to have it. I think some fighters do naturally, and I think some fighters work better when they step in there with that mentality. But I also think, some fighters are better when they come in there to compete, to win. That makes them more calculated. I mean, Usman's a good example. GSP, very calculated. They take risks, but only when it's calculated and necessary. I think there's a benefit to that, but then there are fighters that, and Derek Lewis is a good example. He's got raw power, but he's got an instinct to knock people unconscious. And that does kind of, to an extent, streamline their approach to the fight and makes it a bit more violent, you could say, a bit more, direct. But at the same time, I think there's a time and a place to talk about those kind of things, and I think there's a time and a place to, there is a time and a place to make jokes about those kind of things, because they're also the type of things that circulate on social media. I mean, I remember him saying that, he was grateful to the UFC because he'd be doing, what did he say, something about cooking meth or something. I don't know. It's just, inappropriate comments like that just kind of devalue a good performance, in my opinion. And I think, he could have chosen his words better, but I also think he's a bit of an odd guy anyway. And I don't really think he'd fit in many other places, and I think he's aware of that and feels quite at home in the UFC, maybe a little bit too at home, and says first thing that comes to his mind. But he's an effective individual, and he definitely gets in there with an intention to hurt people, and there is a benefit in that for sure.
Well, with media and being in front of the public eye, and the trash talk that's been going on lately, and people talking about families and religion and all this stuff coming in, in your eyes, what is going too far in the trash talk and in the back and forth?
It's hard to judge, because some fighters are so difficult to get a rise out of that that like you have to go from one extreme to the next. And the other thing as well is you raise the bar each time. Like Conor McGregor, if the first fight in the UFC he used volume position 1, the next one he's got to put it up to 2 just so it's a bit more. And then you end up running out of space to go. You end up running out of things to say without resorting to attacking people's family and beliefs and all those kind of things. I mean, I don't think any of that's necessary. I mean, I was known for trash talking sometimes, but only if I felt like it was going to get into my opponent's head. Against Marcus Davis, we played a lot of games to get inside his head, and it worked really well, but at no point did I attack his family or anything. I was just kind of poking fun at him. But then, on the flip side, my next fight was against Mike Swick, and I knew that it wouldn't work on him, so there was no point in wasting my time. I think sometimes these fighters, they keep raising the stakes each time to the point where they have nowhere else to go other than to say something inappropriate. But I think we all know instinctively. I think when we hear somebody say something, we go, yeah, that was too far. And I think we've all got that moral compass within ourselves. It's just some people choose not to listen to it. And I think that comes out even more when the cameras are rolling and, there's money to be made.
Maybe that's why we get the tweet and deletes by Conor McGregor, is because he realizes after he puts it out there, like, man, I got to pull it back.
Maybe. I mean, he must wake up some mornings and wonder what happened the night before, and then open his phone and just see absolute chaos that he caused with a comment that he made. I don't know where he's at or what's going on in his head. I hope he's all right. I hope he's healthy. But, he's in such a high-pressure position. There are so many expectations on him. That these are the kind of circumstances where people start to lose their mind a little bit, and it takes a lot to keep control, I would think.